Hey everybody, this is Perch. I've done a lot of videos lately around future of comics. Actually, not just lately, pretty much from the beginning. And if they're steering toward niche or not, or niche, depending on what region of the country you're in. We'll go with niche this time because that seems to piss off fewer people when I pronounce it that way. But there's a lot of business practices and choices that are being made that take comics to that place. And that's unfortunately that's just the world we live in at the moment. Um, you look at the direct market. You look at a lot of the choices that were made, 2 decades ago to strengthen the direct market. It was the right thing to do for comics at the moment because it helped it survive. It helped it kind of move to a new business place, but it also locked it into a business track that needed to be addressed at some point. And what happened is comics went to the direct market, kind of saved itself to some extent. And the idea is always that it would tilt back into the mainstream. And then it got a huge gift in the form of kind of Warner putting more attention to DC and Disney putting more attention to Marvel. So there was a moment in time where that lift back to the mainstream was right there. And there were tons and tons of opportunities and deals that could have been made. But for a variety of factors, I think no business acumen in that area, and some nostalgia for the direct market. And keep in mind, I'm saying this as a retailer. I'm saying this as somebody whose business was made off of the direct market for years, but it was always unhealthy to stay there, and it was never supposed to stay there. That was kind of the promise of that initial push into the direct market, is it would strengthen, stabilize, get its business under control, provide a new platform, build a new opportunity, and push back out to the mainstream. And when you had these giant corporations making billions of dollars off of movies, it seemed like that opportunity was absolutely there. But it didn't happen. And so now we've seen that initial buzz, that moment in time, that opportunity has drifted away. And so we're kind of struggling with, where does it go from here? Viewer writes in with this mail: the future of comics, will they be niche forever? And it says, hey Perch, hope you're enjoying better weather and smoother roads than I am. I wanted to reach out and share a concern that's been weighing on my mind regarding the comic industry. I have a love for US comics, but I can't ignore the nagging worry that they may end up forever relegated to a small corner, never able to escape the label of being niche. With technology constantly advancing and disrupting industries, I fear that somebody may figure out how to distribute graphic novels in a manner that captures new readers and leaves the rest behind. We've seen this happen before with platforms like YouTube dominating video sharing using Steam ruling PC game distribution. Once a market is occupied, it's tough for others to make a significant impact. This person's smart. Anyway, yeah, that is very true. And that is why there's, you've heard phrases like first mover advantage. Somebody who comes in and is able to kind of change the business model, get things structured the right way, they have a huge advantage. They become an incumbent, and it's hard to get people off. It costs money to get people away from that. It's hard to get people off. Yes, phrasing. I know. Anyway, the current back to the mail. The current state of U.S. comics already positions them as niche, especially compared to growing popularity of manga and YA. And with more graphic novels like manhwa getting around, the competition only continues to get fiercer. While Amazon may have the potential to play a role in the digital comic market, it's uncertain if they will be the leaders or if their dominance would even be beneficial to the U.S. comic industry. I think it would not, by the way. Amazon is a massive corporation with many interests, and comics may not be their top priority for them. Well, clearly. Moreover, their reputation for a cutthroat business model may make it challenging for creators and publishers to make a profit. I acknowledge I don't have enough knowledge, and that the definitive predictions of my assessment in the present, much less the future, may be foolish. No, you're pretty dead on. However, I want to share my thoughts and hear your perspective on the matter. You once mentioned that hope springs eternal. It only takes one smart person at Marvel and DC to get them back on track, but I fear it may already be too late. It's challenging enough trying to introduce comics to my friends, and the idea of them becoming even more niche pains me. So, look, I stand by what I said. Absolutely, it still only takes one smart person to get things back on track. It's true. When you're, and I'll say it from this perspective. Right now, comics is a relatively small pond. Smart business decisions can have a significant impact in that pond. If the pond was huge, if you're talking about the global marketplace, what Amazon plays in, innovation and changes make very limited ripples. It's very hard to make an impact there. It's hard to make an impact there because it's just there's you know it's there's already too much ground that's been covered and a lot of money and an established framework that's been made. But comics, you get a really smart person in Marvel and DC who's really forward thinking, futurist, driving new business, driving new markets, channels, getting some of these deals put together. It could change very, very quickly. But you're going to have to find somebody, an absolute unicorn in the business, who can basically say, I understand, deeply respect, and love comics. I think they're amazing. I care about the history. I care about the business. I care about where this stuff's going. I have a deep respect for all. I have a deep respect for all of it. But my deep respect is not going to cause me to pursue the same business strategies and tactics that have failed, that are antiquated. We're going to have to do something new. That's the part that's it's very hard to sit on, if you will, perch on both sides at once. No, I'm not the right person for that job. But you have to be able to have a deep found respect and love for the thing you're coming in to deal with, and recognize that the best way to keep your love and respect and everything, the best way to do that is to change it, to evolve it, to protect against disruption, to move forward. People often confuse love with, freezing it in amber and never changing. And that's comics. You get a lot of resistance in comics if you suddenly start saying, we're going to update, we're going to change, we're going to evolve. People line up to tell you why you can't. They get it very, very rapidly. Comics has to move forward. The best way to protect it and love it is to change it. It's one of the reasons why this digital argument is so hard for a lot of people, because you may have in your mind, I'll never go to digital. I like the experience of paper. I like holding it in my hands. I like feeling it. I like touching it. All that stuff is key to me in my experience, and that's true. But if you let that love, if you let that part of comics, block you from considering new technologies and other things coming out, if you just like, nope, I'm not even going to look at it. Don't even want to see it. Paper comics forever. If that's your position, then eventually you're going to get disrupted. You're going to get taken out, because the world can't survive. It just doesn't work. You have to be able to move forward, and that's very hard. It's emotionally hard. People don't like it. I get it. I get all of it. I mean, all this stuff is very understandable, but it still has to move forward. Comics is steering to being niche. Every day, every choice that reinforces the status quo keeps it locked. It keeps a glass ceiling over its head. It helps no one. And one of the reasons, and again, a lot of the conversation goes into the quality of the content and whether you like the comic or not. That's fine. You're welcome to like and hate whatever you want, of course. But one thing you have to acknowledge is one of the reasons why manga and YA are making a lot of progress and are, doing well, is because they have taken a lot of advantage of Amazon and Barnes and Noble and big booksellers and Scholastic and being in schools. They have gone places that Western comics are not going. They have not only prioritized but solved a lot of the digital debate for themselves. The Jump app is a really good app. It is the best one. It's got a business model that is very, very good. It handles offline and online well. It copied a lot of the things that work for Netflix and integrated it into its system. It's doing the right things, regardless of whether you like what's there or hate what's there, and however it compares against Western comics. It's handling that disruption better. It's fighting against being niche in a way that Western comics are not. So, at the end of the day, that's something that has to be reckoned with. And the longer that's delayed, I mean, look, it's at momentum. It's very hard to get momentum. If you think about this is physics. if you set something in motion, the effort it takes to get it moving, to get a car up to speed, for example, it's very hard. A lot of work has to get in to get it up to 60 miles an hour. But once you're at 60 miles an hour, you can coast and keep a lot of that keep a lot of that progress with very minimal effort. Now, if you completely take your foot off the gas, your car will eventually grind to a halt, and then you have to put a lot of effort to get that momentum going again. But this is why businesses build on momentum, and when you have it, life gets so much better. And the reality is, whatever you think of Western comics, manga, why all these different topics, manga has momentum. It's pushed into lots of different markets. It's getting its product in front of a lot of different eyeballs. It still is prioritizing print, but it's also prioritizing digital in a smart way. And it's pushing hard against niche and succeeding. Manga and those efforts now need to put in less work to keep moving forward, whereas comics needs to put in a huge effort to achieve that same momentum because it allowed itself to slow down. And that's a threat. It is hard to get people into comics. I feel for you. It's a tough world. But look, I'll tell you about last bit from a retailer perspective. There's a lot of retailers out there who refuse to carry manga, refuse, and they do so on principle. Manga aren't comics, they will say. Again, that's their choice, but it's a dumb one. It's one that means that they're going to have to work twice as hard to achieve business results because they're taking one of the products that has the most momentum out of their arsenal, not selling it. That's a bad error. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for the mail. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.